morning, good evening, welcome. It is a Monday morning here. It could possibly be a Sunday evening for you. Thank you so much for spending your time here. Today I want to have a little talk about keeping your momentum on YouTube. Now, by momentum, I'm not talking consistency, all right? Where we're like every week we live stream here. No, we're talking about momentum and how to keep it and how to pick it up. So learning how to understand what your audience actually wants versus what you think they want so that they help you to build your momentum. All right. So that's the trajectory of today's chat. So first thing I want to say is thanks, Doug, for for all those messages this morning. I'm a little tired today. I didn't sleep the best last night. I was kind of waiting for something to happen and then it didn't happen, and yeah. Anyway, well, it could still happen. I don't know. It's nothing bad, nothing, anything. It's just like a work thing. But yeah. So thanks for all of those, Doug. There's just a couple there. And Home Rapid Repair. Great to see you in the chat. It is Monday. It is Monday. Absolutely. So, how do we know when something has got momentum? Like the first thing is views, right? You can see the views, and it's starting to get in some of those views. So you'll be looking at your analytics for most of this information. So you go in and you can see what kind of views you've got. So I'm predominantly going to be speaking about long form and live stream-ish side of YouTube rather than shorts. I'm not super comfortable with shorts, and also let me know in the chat, how do you feel about the new engaged views versus view on YouTube? Personally, I think it was just a bit of a they've just decided to just, I don't know. I think that they had the high ground and they've given it up. Honestly, that's how I feel about it. But you let me know what you think of it. I honestly had no problems with understanding the difference between views on TikTok, Reels, and YouTube. I had no issues. I totally understood the difference. That TikTok and Instagram was more impressions. YouTube was views. I got that. I understood that. And now they've kind of diluted it. So we can still see what our engaged views are. And the really important thing here to remember is, while publicly it may state, say 1,000 views, we'll make round numbers. Say publicly it says 1,000 views. You can go into your analytics and you can check out what your actual engaged views are. So the data is still there. It's not taken away. It's just, you've got to go digging for it now. But the thing that's really important for YouTube creators to really remember, especially those on the path to monetization and those that are monetized and are looking at income, engaged views is how they still work out all those metrics. So you could have your 10 million views on a short, but if only 1 million of them were engaged, then you only get ad income for 1 million. You only get, that million is added if you're looking towards monetization. Only the million is added towards that, not the 10 million. So I think that's going to be where people get a little bit snarled up, is that they'll think it's the same thing across the board for everything. Like, on TikTok and on Instagram, if you have X number of views, then you are monetized, kind of thing. Whereas on YouTube, they're still keeping their old engaged views rule for that. So I think they needed to go all in on one, and they haven't. They're trying to walk the barrier there, and I think that's actually going to confuse people more than the difference that was already existing. Now, that's my opinion. It is my little. Is it a soapbox? I have new jiffies for both of those. I have tested them out this morning. I don't know if it's actually either of those things. I think it's just a sharing of my opinion. I don't know if it's really either, but yeah, it's definitely something, and it's happening. There's a lot of conversations around it happening right now. There's a lot of, people discussing the differences and the fact that it's just a public number difference. And so is it a vanity metric now? So, it's nearly like it's taking away from the reality of your viewers. So, I do think that it's going to be interesting to see what they do going forward, whether or not they double down on it or whether or not they realize it's not doing what they were hoping it would do. So it's like anything. YouTube give us so much data. We can still go digging for the old stuff. We can go and get way more data than any of these other platforms give us here on YouTube. So we can go digging, we can go deep, we can work out which of the shorts in this particular instance, which of the shorts actually not only got engaged views, but got swiped less, but got, a longer watch times, where they went, where they jumped out, things like that. So you can actually really dig in deep and see what happened on those. So hopefully that will still make a difference. I hope. Let's have a look here. Good morning, Learn live streaming with John Lacey. He says, I think they needed to have the stats that could match other platforms and they give you the two to choose from. Yeah, look, if that was the case, why didn't they do it years ago when Reels first came out and when YouTube first started bringing in video? That there's been a variation in what's considered a view on both of these platforms for a really long time. So, yeah. Russell says, what is the real measure of success on YouTube? Once it was subs, it could be views. What do you think? So I can only go by my personal opinion here. I don't think it's subs anymore at all. I think it's views, but I think what measures success is how long you've gotten someone to watch for. And so that's sort of like that's more data digging, and it's not publicly visible. And, like the views are publicly visible on the video and the subs are publicly visible. So, whereas for me, how long did somebody actually watch for? What's the average view duration? That is more important to me than, did they go and watch another video? Did they go down the rabbit hole of a playlist? Like, those are things to me that scream success more than just the straight up views or subs. Sorry. As I said earlier, I didn't sleep well. So views or subs. So I definitely think your average view duration is probably more important there. But I don't know. Like, let me know in the chat. What do you think? What do you think is actually the measure of success? Look, the issue I have with measuring success is different for every single person. What each individual person considers success, like that, everyone's got a different level. Like for me, I will consider the Fibrific YouTube channel successful now already. There's under 10,000 subscribers on that. We're about to hit 500,000 views on that channel. But it's been successful for years, because what it did do was it got my brand out there. It brought sales to my web store. It got me teaching gigs in all over the place, at guilds and at conferences and things like that. So I think that success looks different for everybody, right? John says they needed to match TikTok and Instagram, but also give advertisers more granular data. Yeah, look, I don't know what data they're giving the advertisers, so I don't know it from that side at all. I don't know. John says, broadly speaking, I'm just looking for an upward trend in views. I can't obsess over it or I'll make myself crazy. Yeah. And this is an excellent point here. Doug said only 2.5-ish% of channels make it to 10K. So, and like, Doug, do those stats already rule out channels that aren't uploading, or is that across every single individual who has a channel? Like I have a viewing channel, I don't upload on that. Is that included in that sort of large 100%, or are they just talking 2.5% of actively uploading channels or channels that have uploaded? Because I've never understood if anyone they are posting channels. Okay, that's good, because I wasn't sure if those stats included that differentiation between a posting channel versus a viewing channel. But that is actually, that's crazy that it's only 2.5% make it to 10K. So I know Russell in the chat here, he's got well over 10K. Doug's got over 10K. I know that Russell's manufactured home, and then Home Rapid Repair also over 10K. Like, so a lot of you are already over that. You're in that top 2.5% and heading into the top 1%. Yeah, and this is another really interesting stat. Like 94% of all uploaded videos never get over 1,000 views. And it's because the sheer number of videos that are uploaded every single minute. Hugo Russell's got a really great insight here. I started out looking for subs, and now I'm at 29K and I'm getting there. But then I'm also at 4.4 million views, and I thought that might be success. Then there's the income from building your channels, but those are no longer my measure. No, because you've gone broader picture, Russell. So you're looking more at the business behind your channel rather than just the channel, but you're still keeping the momentum on the channel because it is still a funnel to your business. And that's the same for Home Rapid Repair. It's still a funnel. And I don't know how much of that funnel makes it through to your various businesses, but it's a really interesting way to look at it because like I know Home Rapid Repair, you had a business before your channel. I had a business before my channel. Russell, did your business come before or after the channel? I'm curious. Like, you don't have to tell us if you don't want, but I'm just very curious because if you look at now at what's happening on YouTube, a lot of creators are now understanding that you can't just make all your money off AdSense, right? It's just while AdSense is generous in the scheme of other, Facebook and Reels and like Facebook and Instagram and TikTok, they don't give anywhere near the same splits on ads that YouTube gives their creators. It's generous from that perspective. How many times have we heard stories of people with over 1 million subscribers on their YouTube channel still running, being an Uber driver or Uber Eats driver because they're not making enough to make rent and they've got 1 million subscribers, because all they have is AdSense, right? So, it's one of these things. It's one of these things where you could just look at what is success for you? Is it income? Is it views? Is it subscribers? It's just, for me, I measure success off income, right? Like, I'd love to say it's off how often my face is on YouTube because that's twice a week. That's pretty cool, right? No is the answer. No, I base it off income. But that is how I personally do it, and each individual person does it differently. Home Rapid Repair says, my lifetime channel views are 7 to 8 million. I'd love to remove shorts views and see how many of those are just the long form video. Could you do that in advanced analytics? Go in and group your long form videos and see what they look like. I'm not sure. You should be able to do that. I don't know if there's a maximum number of videos you can add into a group, but you could possibly do that way. Home Repair says, I still own several businesses. One of them I don't do the day-to-day anymore. My channel is where all my fun is, and it occupies most of my creative thoughts. That's very cool. I like how you look at it. That's where your fun is, and that's where your creativity is. I like that. Okay. So first you wrote the book, and then you built the website and the Facebook page, and then YouTube and the courses. Okay. For some reason, I thought it might have been YouTube first, but that is very cool. So again, you've come from the business first and then into YouTube. That is very, very interesting. Good morning, Leanne. It's great to see you in here. Doug says some income may not be directly from YouTube, but it's certainly linked to YouTube or because of YouTube. And that is definitely how a lot of my income comes in. So it's not directly, it's not the, buy me a coffee, speaking of which I should possibly throw that up there. It's not the direct buy me a coffee. It's not my AdSense. It's not my super chats, but it is coming from, because of me being on YouTube. So the clients that I currently work for is because of what I've done with other people on YouTube. I might move that over there. There we go. So it doesn't block those. So the clients that I work for, it's not because what I've personally done on YouTube. They could get way better, like more, Tibbles is losing his mind. They could get more successful creators, but the skills that I have are what they need. And I'm on their radar because of YouTube. Like, does that make any sense at all? And it may not be because of what I do on my channels on YouTube, but what I do on other people's channels on YouTube. But anyway, it's all very, very convoluted, but it is that. Live stream consultants, it's great to see you. John says, I think it's important to not rely on one source of traffic and to mix it up a bit. That is actually a really good idea. I think it's important to not rely on one source of income, full stop. And then when it comes to traffic, trying to leverage as many ways as possible without adding crazy amounts of workload, I think is the balancing act there. Russell's written here, today I'm looking at how many people I help. That's my measure of success. By the way, my income increased when I stopped measuring success or putting my focus on income. That's actually very cool. That's very cool. I like that a lot. It's one of those things, isn't it? It's like when you stop focusing on the thing and focus on the thing, on something else, that other thing tends to change up. Yeah, I hadn't thought of it like that. The biggest issue I think for most creators is simply nobody knows who you are. So anything you can do to make people aware of you can help. What have I've missed a joke here, haven't I? Oh, okay. I get it now. Sorry, that was the inside joke, is because he said he's late. Yeah, you're right. Because he gets up at stupid o'clock every single day. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. But yes, you're right. So the trick now is we've got our channels, right? Most of us are making content on our channels, whether it's live streams, shorts, long form, whatever, doesn't matter. We're all making our content. Now, understanding which bits of our content are the driving forces, which bit of our content are what's driving the majority of your views, and are you leveraging that? Now, I know full well on my Fiberific channel, the biggest piece of content that everybody absolutely loves over there, it's actually a knitting video teaching one particular technique. And it drives way more views every single month. It's about 5 years old. It's not new. It's this older content. And, I could absolutely make more content like that. And I have a list, and that sort of content is on the list. And I have the data to prove that people not only watch it, they rewind it, they rewatch it, they keep checking, they come back to it. I have returning subscribers coming back and watching the video again and again. So it's educational, and it's like what's the word I'm looking for? Where resource. It's a resource. It's like an education resource. And so on that channel, that's where all the views come from. On this channel, oops, I've just touched something. What did I do? Nothing. Good. Don't touch the keyboard. On this channel is my moderator video. It's my managing moderator video. It's the one big video. It's by far and beyond way better performing than anything else on this channel. And have I followed it up with another moderation video? No, I have not. Why? Because I just haven't. Do I know I need to? Yes, I do. So what is your big outlier, your one top video that performs the absolute best on your channel? Let me know in the chat. Yeah, absolutely. Could totally get lost down at the chat. Totally. Yeah, stupid o'clock is one of my favorite things. Home Rapid Repair says, you should do it. I've remade some of my popular videos. It helps for sure. And this one particular video, in it, I didn't know the name of the name of the thing I was teaching. I'd seen someone do it. I knew it was really good. I knew it was fantastic for this particular thing, this problem that it was solving. But even in the video, I'm like, if you know what this is called, please let me know. And in the majority of the comments are people having a go at what it's called. Now, I know what it's called now. I've gone and found some people told me some names and I was going and checking. Some of them are right, some of them aren't. But I could totally remake that video with better quality video. With the biggest complaint is that I did it with small needles and small yarn, so make it with bigger needles, bigger yarn, things like that. So, there's all these things that I could do to go in and make it, and I really should. John says, I have a video about an OBS plugin about creating automatic captions in stream that carries my entire channel. So what does that tell you? What does that tell you for your next video? Does it tell you that people like OBS plugins or that they like automatic captions? What is it about that video that is making people want to come and watch that video? So yeah, because that's the thing. It's really easy to get hung up on what you think the reason people are watching it is versus why they're actually watching it. So, yeah, I would, it's very easy. It's very easy to get stuck on where we think it is. So you need to be deep diving into your analytics and actually going through and seeing what are the search terms people are using to look for it? What are the comments people are putting into the video? Understanding and seeing why they're watching it. And that's not always easy if there's not a lot of comments, like it's all good and well to go, oh, read the comments and see what people are saying. But if you're not getting comments, it's just a frustrating thing for people to tell you to do. You're like, well, there's no comments there other than good job. And it's just like, well, thanks. Let's have a look here. Doug says that's the one that got recommended to him just yesterday. Home Rapid Prayer says, honestly, I'm okay with growing slower with steady how-to content and not always pushing hard for the next big hit. Me too. But there comes a point where, and you're probably not here yet, Home Rapid Repair, but I'm definitely there, where I've let it go with what I'm happy to do for so long now. It's starting to sort of backslide a little. And so I need to come in, not with a big push, but even just with an effort, just to stand there and hold my ground kind of thing. And so I'm just looking at the different ways for me to decide where to put my energy. I don't want to come in. I don't want to be making a video a week on top of my live stream a week. But my goal this year was to try to get a video a month in. And have I done that at all this year? No, I've been focusing on other things. So while I'm not going to be giving myself a number time, I would like to plan out my next video and make it a video, not that I necessarily, want to make or, just something that I think would be cool or fun. Needs that as well. But I want it to be data driven. I want to see, I want to make something that I think people might actually watch. I make a lot of stuff people don't watch. I want to make something people might actually watch. And it's not that I don't have data. Now, on this channel, I definitely have less data because it is a smaller channel. I do have less views. I have a lot less content. And so there's not quite as much data. But on Fiberific, there is a lot more data. Russell's saying, my best long video has 1.1 million views. It's technically the worst video I ever made. It also helps literally no one. Really? It helps literally no one. Oh my gosh, that's kind of funny. So what do you think what about that video do you think it got it to the 1.1? Because that's insane views for something that, was it fun or funny or entertaining? Because I don't know. Like, I don't have any answers here. I don't know enough about it. Doug is right. The money-making activities take priority over making content. They do. The job comes first. And while I'd like to say the channel comes first, no, the job comes first. It's family, job, channel. So the channel is a little ways down the list here. But yeah, it's definitely, sometimes you've got to make sure that you've got the internet and the power on to make sure that these things happen. I have a friend that copied this and makes 5 to 10 of those a week. He gets massive views. If views were my goal, I would have done the same. Yeah, I suppose because you're looking at it and you're like, well, it didn't help anybody. So yeah, it's sometimes, yeah, that's a thing, right? And if your goal is to help people, then you don't want to make more of that content. But was it? It has to have at least been entertaining, and maybe it helps someone get through a moment. I don't know. John says, it's tricky because I'm sure I could make more popular content, but I need to be true to myself. Absolutely. But is there a not so much even a middle ground, but a slightly like where you're still being true to yourself and you're still keeping to your goals and your tenets, but also at the same time making something that maybe somebody outside of the usual, like, and by the usual, I just mean, like in here, right? You guys are in here right now. And I know if I upload something, at least you will watch it. But I would like a few others to watch it as well. So yeah, I don't know. I think we just have different goals, and that is okay. It's okay to have different goals. It's okay to have different priorities, and it's okay to have a different focus. However, this is where the big however comes in. If you want to have a successful channel in the eyes of other people, maybe not what you consider successful, if you want to be seen as being successful, are you doing what you need to do to attain that goal?
It's coffee time.
Thank you so much for the coffees. I shall take a sip of my coffee, Larry.
Yes.
Yeah, so are you actually, because if that's a goal for you, are you working towards that goal? So, like it's a different thing. It's a different thing. Let me just jump back here. I've missed a few comments. Home Wrap Repair says, thanks for sharing that. I chat sometimes with YouTube coaches, and if I'm being lazy, I feel like just tell me what to make next. Well, do you know what? More often than not, your audience have already told you what they want more of. It's usually right there. You just need to read through your comments and check your analytics. Time to stand up and put that saucy Aussiness to work on the channel. Yeah, I've got to try and I need to look at my calendar and reshuffle some things, and shuffle some priorities. Because I don't know if you guys, have I had the spoons discussion with you guys? I don't know if I have. It's this theory that you wake up in the morning with so many spoons, and sometimes it takes an entire spoon to get out of bed. So if you've woken up with 3 spoons and, you've used one of them just to get up and another one to have a shower, you've got 1 spoon left to do the rest of your activities for the day. Whereas other days you'll wake up and you've got 20 spoons. I'm a spoon person. I wake up with different amounts of spoons each day. And if I push too hard past how much spoon energy I've got, it can actually make me suffer for weeks in advance. So I have to be really careful about what I do with my energy levels, to make sure I can still do things like make dinner and converse with people and answer emails. And all of these things take, excuse me, I've totally got a frog now. Hang on. All of these things, it's not going away. Let's try again with some water. Have I got water? No. I don't have oh, there it goes. It's gone. I was going to say, I don't have a sore throat today. It's fine. I just had a frog. John says, I've recreated 2 or 3 times with varying levels of success. Okay. Um, John says, I think my biggest problem is that I mostly do live streams and YouTube seems to favor VODs. I'm going to agree with you there. I personally prefer to live stream. I personally love live streaming and I love interacting directly with you in the chat. Live streams don't have the same longevity. Like, yes, they absolutely come up in search. And if you go through and make the effort of adding in timestamps that are relevant, those timestamps come up in Google searches as well. So, you know, there's things that you can do that help your live streams to get a little bit more longevity. But the reality is VODs definitely have the better longevity than live streams or even shorts. So, yeah, I feel you on this one, definitely. John says, weird question. Does Ecamm have a slideshow functionality built in? I don't know the answer to that. I don't do slideshows. I normally screen share into Keynote, and just manually do my Keynote slides there. Yeah, I don't know. That possibly Doug might know better. He's been using Ecamm a lot longer than me, so yeah. Oh, Russell was saying that video that it's got all the views says he gave people false hope that there was a housing solution. Oh, I understand. So it feels like it actually, you feel like it actually negatively impacted your viewers. Yeah, I get that. I can see why that one would not make you as proud as the others. Well, and Kelly has an excellent point here. It got your content in front of other people, and then they hopefully went searching through your. So from that video, can you see how many people moved on to another video? Yeah. John says, energy is finite resource. Gotta rest sometimes. Absolutely. Game Widow says, I'm currently paying for overusing my spoons. You think I'd learn after the last year, but no. Yeah. John says, I had the same throw issue on Saturday in my stream. It really threw my confidence. Yeah, it gets frustrating because it's like, it's not hurting. It just sounds awful. And it actually feels weird. So you keep trying to clear your throat. But yeah, I don't know if yeah. Google suggests there's a way to do it. Just make a bunch of scenes. Lol. No, that's not no. But you could, like, I would just screen share. And like the big difference between screen sharing, like say on Ecamm versus StreamYard, is on the StreamYard screen shares, the quality was always iffy. Whereas on Ecamm, they're fine. So, and I personally like to have it like as a screen share rather than a built-in thing, because then I can have my big highlighted mouse and I can click things and show stuff. Depends on what the slideshow is for, what it's doing. If you need to be able to, if you need to be able to mouse to it or not. But yeah, I thought there was. I tend to screen share it, but yeah, I don't know. Russell was saying it wasn't so much that it negatively impacted them, but the vast majority of those viewers are not the people that need your expertise. Oh, you're right. Yeah. So that they are actually not your desired clientele. So while they can be audience, anyone can be audience, but are they going to be the people that go and buy the book, that look to the course? That, yeah, I get it. Yeah. I'm a little slow this morning. Let's just lay that out straight away. I'm not the quickest on most days, but I'm particularly slow today. So I want to make it really clear, when I'm talking about momentum, I'm not talking about consistency, all right? And I know that it's really easy to interchange those two words, and quite often that works. But today we're talking about building momentum and keeping our momentum rather than what's happening on my channels at the moment, which is they're starting to backslide a little bit. So making sure that we are working towards what can keep that momentum going or amp it up a little bit. Like as Home Rapid Repair says, they're not looking to have a big push or anything like that. But I'm sure that you would like to at least keep it where it's at and not let it backslide. So keeping that momentum going. And sometimes keeping that momentum going is as simple as being consistent with a regular VOD or a regular short or a regular live stream. Sometimes that's enough. So, making sure that you've got that sort of regular, well, the consistent content helps towards building momentum. So, yeah. Like saying audience versus community. Yes, I think that's the difference for Russell right here, right now, is talking audience versus community. Guest content and collabs can absolutely help. If you are in an industry, if you are in a niche where you can bring somebody in who is also a good fit for your audience. A lot of people think of their collabs as somebody who, I'm a good fit for their audience. You want it both ways. But if you're bringing someone onto your channel, it is so much more important that they are a fit for your audience. If they happen to bring their audience with them, that is awesome. But it's also it's not always likely. It's not always likely. But you need to be making sure that those people that you bring on as collabs are a good fit for your audience. Home Rapid Repair says, I think that what confuses me is guessing the response of a video or a topic. I'm often wrong, such as a low effort video will completely take off. I don't know if there is a way to know for certain. I don't know. There's no formula as such of A plus B plus C equals a video that takes off. If there is, I don't know it. But I think that finding topics is so much more important than quality. I think Doug Dexter just said it here. Topic trumps video quality or effort. Hopefully you can meet both. But this is the thing, right? Like you look at some people's channels and you're like, wow, this is, I've got, fancy lights and I've got a nice camera and, whatever. And they're just on their phone or whatever. People don't care. The viewer doesn't care. What is the information you've given them? What is, are you solving a problem? Are you helping them through something? Are you entertaining them? That is so much more important. Have you chosen the right topic? And so it sounds more like you are picking the topic, making sort of like the more low effort video because you needed to make something around that topic. But then you go and make a huge effort on something and then, production quality is phenomenal, but the topic didn't quite hit. But yeah, I'm probably not the person to ask about that because I'm terrible at picking which videos are going to go off and which aren't. If you had have asked me which of the videos on my YouTube, my Fiberific channel, which one would be the most popular, it would not have been a simple cast on. I would not have assumed that. And you know what? It's still getting more views each day than any of my other videos. It is awful quality, but it solves a problem. It's solving a problem. Let me see. I view YouTube like an old steam engine locomotive. As long as you are feeding the fire and the engine has power to keep going, but like a steam engine, you need to stop for water occasionally. Yep, and sometimes you need to stoke the fire a bit higher to get it up a hill too. Yeah, see, I agree with Doug here. Views can be an indicator, but other types of responses like comments can give you more insights. No or low comments might actually indicate a status quo. Yeah. 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 Or like you've just like they've come in, you've solved their problem, they've left. They're like, yep, you met the needs. I'm out. I've done what I needed to do. Watch the video. Fantastic. Thanks. Bye. And that's it. That's the end of it. It's we haven't left them wanting. There's not something that they need to answer. There's no question in the video. There's like on my you know popular video over on the other channel, I asked the question, if you know the name of this stitch, please let me know in the chat, in the comments area, because I'm not sure. And like so many comments. Home Repair says, you get it. That's exactly what happens with topic selection and effort put in a video. Gosh. Great points. When I have a sleeper old video take off, my first indication is new comments coming in. Yeah. Yep. And that's what I notice as well. Like I'll be looking at comments and I've got my comments, we've got the comment filters on. I've got them like ones I haven't responded to and newest first. And it'll be like, oh, what is this one responding to? Like which video is this on? So yeah. It's just one of these things. Pineapple pizza is, well, I'm glad to hear it because pineapple on pizza is amazing. I had pizza last night. There was no pineapple on it. I was disappointed. Russell says, I've studied two distinctly different approaches to YouTube. If views and income are your goals, then Daryl Eves teaches you the way to get the mega views. If your goal is to help people, go with the teachings of Justin Brown. And that's the thing, right? Like there are some amazing YouTube education creators out there, right? They've got phenomenal courses. They've got amazing memberships and groups and ways for you to go in and get income. But it's going to come down to what is your definition of success as to which one to go with. I have been a member of PVA which is Justin Brown's group, it's got to be at least 5 years, right? It's got to be at least 5 years. I love it in there because I want to help people. That's my ultimate goal. My goal is to help people. And so I love how he teaches it. And also for me, finding, like I went through a couple before I found Justin's, and finding somebody that taught in a method that resonated with me. It worked so well there. But then it's a different, like they're totally different teaching methods, like between Justin and Daryl, totally different teaching methods, totally different goals for people. I personally think they're both great, but they both have different strengths. So, or different end games. There's different end games. So yeah. Kelly says, I think it's helpful to pose a question at the end, even with Facebook posts. I find I get more responses when I finish with a question, even just a simple one. With YouTube, you don't want to leave your questions till the end because you really only have about, I mean, obviously it depends on the individual channel and the individual video, but you'd have a much smaller percentage catching that tail end of your video. Most people have gotten their information and left. So there's, like, we talk about the hockey stick. Like, let me know in the chat if any of your videos have a hockey stick. I've got a few. And what it is in the analytics is where you've had, like, say 10,000 people have jumped in to watch it. And then within the first 30 seconds, boom, only 1,000 people are still watching. And then it slowly, goes across. So you get the hockey stick. And, by the time you get to that last sort of 20% of the video, there's only, the final 2% of people out of the initial 10,000 that jumped in are still watching. So leaving things till the end is not always ideal. Now, obviously, if you are looking to get those people that are your stalwarts, that are your foundation members, things like that, those will be the people that go all the way to the end every single time. But if you're looking for broader comment interaction, you need to be placing questions or sort of asking for responses a little earlier. So maybe not necessarily in that first 30 seconds, but between the first 30 seconds and the first minute might be a good place to test. And all you can do is test it, because every single person's content and every single person's audience are different. So having like different things will work for different groups and different people. So you need to go in and you need to look at and just test it out. Like when you're editing, or when you're recording, or when you're script writing, you've got your sort of your hawk and your little bit of your intro of what your video is about. Now, when I say an intro, I'm not talking about like a logo swirling around, blah, blah, blah kind of intro. No. I'm talking like this is what this video is about and you're in the right place kind of intro. And then, pose a question right there and see what that does. That scrolled right back really quickly. That was weird. Doug says Justin has very good help content model. He does. Absolutely. I think that the key, your idea of what success looks like, needs to match whom you seek to help or counsel with. This is so true. And sometimes you need to have a good, long, hard look at your own motives and goals, and then double check that the content you're creating is aligning with that, so that you're getting those people in. And it's easier said than done. Russell says, I greatly increase watch time by leaving a special tip or bonus after my calls to action, hinting at it in several key areas of the video. Yeah. So you're not waiting till that last 20 seconds of the video to throw everything in there. You're actually putting it in different spots, which is great. Here we go. Home Wrap and Prepare found a spot in the studio, how to find the lifetime views per video type. So 4.2 million of your views have come from your long videos. 2.9 million of your views have come from shorts. Well, there you go. So the majority of your views are coming from your long form, which is what you wanted. I thought that's what you wanted, but that is great. And can you group some together and check your view durations and see how they're going? Because like, if you've got, like, that's some good data. This is what you wanted. That's good. Yeah. That's good. Well, then I would win. Success. It's happening. That's great. But yeah, there's so much data available in YouTube analytics. You just have to give yourself the time to go through and click on things. And don't be afraid to go into the advanced area. There is just so much available for you to go and have a look at things. Now, you don't have to understand everything, but understanding what YouTube deems important versus what, other people might deem important is super helpful. And understanding where your views are coming from. I think, like, for me, the things that I like to check are average view duration, as I said before. I like to know where my views are coming from. So whether it's, like search and browse and suggested, I like to know that most of mine come from search. Like, let's be honest, like 97% of mine come from search. But I'm also really curious, and I don't know how important this is or whether it's just something I'm curious about, but I really like to know where people are watching, right? So TV, phone, video, like geography is great. Like, that's cool too. But I like to know what devices people are watching on, because I watch a lot of YouTube myself, right? And I know for myself, if I'm on my phone, I'm not there for the long haul. I'm just quickly watching something. So it'll be a short or something that I can just sort of watch and scroll through quickly while I'm doing other things. But if I've got it on my TV, there's a really good chance that I'm going to watch all the way through, and then the next video and the next video. I'm usually there for a bit more of a long haul. I got my craft out, I got my laptop out, I'm doing something, whatever, but I've made a nest. I'm not going anywhere. So making sure, like that you understanding where your views are, like where people are watching your views, I think is super helpful. And it can help you focus and decide on what quality do I need. Like, so if most people are watching your thing on a phone, you don't need 4K video. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, you've got lots of way. Oh, Russell, yes. The best way to doom a channel is to measure in Russell's, but also my opinions, is to measure your success by the opinions of others. Yes. Russell, are you recovering from hyperanalytica now? Because I didn't realize that you were feeling better about the hyperanalytica. Russell would deep dive all over his analytics for every video. I've got a few things that I like to look at, but some of them are in advanced and some of them are just in the screen. I'll tell you one thing I never look at, and I actually disabled it, which is that 1 out of 10 thing. That thing drove me insane. It makes it makes no sense. There's no advantages to it. There's nothing important about it. There's no, I don't understand why it even exists. Because if I make a video, right, and it's better than my other videos, analytics will tell me, right? I'll get better view duration. I'll be able to see that it's better. But trying to make every video a 1 out of 10 is just going to do my head in, because I've got that brain where I'm like, oh, I need to complete all the circles on things, which I really struggle in some groups. But yeah, the 1 out of 10 thing really messed with my head, so I had to turn that thing straight off. See you later, Gamer Widows. Good luck today. Russell Brunson said it best: figure out what winning looks like for you, and whatever that is, then work it backwards to figure out where to start. I was thinking about that exact thing today, because Gary Vaynerchuk has said something similar as well. Like, basically, success looks different for everybody. And I look at, like, what is my desired income for the year? And then I work it back from there. So, and my desired income from the year, we're not talking millions. No, like I'm very, 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 what's the word I'm looking for? Modest in what I consider successful income. So yeah. Home Wrap Repair says, I don't spend much time in studio data. It doesn't excite me like planning new ideas and recording. And this is the thing, right? You do have to find the balance, because you've still got to be able to create the content. But sometimes having a little bit of extra data can help you prioritize which one of those great ideas that you've come up with might work best now. I'm a recovering Diet Coke-aholic, but I fall off the wagon multiple times a day. That's terrible. That's terrible. I just want to say both of those are awful. Both Diet Pepsi and Diet Coke, awful. Is it growing to live or growing to life? Because I actually spelt the same. I'm thinking growing to live, and that's the way I'm leaning, but let me know. Totally agree that 1 out of 10 is not a good rule of thumb. Yeah, it's one of those fast, cheap dopamine hits. But the problem with the dopamine hit is you've got to keep doing it, Oh, that's exciting. That's awesome. You'll be able to put things in an oven and have all the cookers working. But yeah, no, I agree with you. I don't like it. I think there's plenty of other things that you can have a quick look at. And that was the thing. It was available at a glance, and that's why a lot of people liked it. And they still like it, is because it's at a glance. That one's doing better than others, But only top level, only at a glance, because like you could look at it like 1 minute and you've got a 10 out of 10, and you're all like, this is awful. But then something could happen down the track, and all of a sudden that thing's a 1 out of 10. There's hardly, like, we don't know what. It's just, it is just measured off your 10 most popular videos. That's all it is. It's not competing. It's not comparing against any other channel data. It's nothing else. It's just off your of your 10 latest videos. That's it. So find the data elsewhere and get actual data that's helpful. For me, comments area is my top place. Oh, live, life. Okay. Thank you. But yeah, it's for me, it's the comments area. Now, and as I said before, sometimes it's really hard because there's just not a lot of comments. So then your goal is for the next video, how do I get people to comment? That's that. How do I get people to comment? And how do I get people to comment something meaningful, not just, oh my God, that was great or that was awful. And it's just like, okay, so you hated it? Cool. What did you hate? Like, please be specific. Let's have a look here. Just make sure the installer lights it the first time. Oh gosh. Daryl said in a recent live about how bad the 1 out of 10 of rating is. So I clicked in, and yes, it's sort of a useless metric. It kind of is. It kind of is. Well, here we go. Oh, no, this one here. Which is better, 5K views and 500 subs from people that will never buy your course, or 500 views and 50 subs from a group that contains 10% buyers? Well, the answer to that question is, what is your goal? If you want people buying your course, then the second. If you want views and subs, the first. I personally think the second is better. They're quality. They're qualified and quality. But if your goal is just views and subs, then the first one's going to make you happier. I say something sensationalist, people will comment. Oh my gosh. Yeah, it is. It is a bit Justin versus Daryl on that one. It is rather. I find it really hard because, like, I like both guys. I like both teachings. And they are different, and they do just serve different purposes, and they serve different audiences. So it's like I don't want to be in the middle here. I don't want to put myself in the middle. I blew myself up once in my camper when it ran out of propane in the middle of the night. Oh my gosh. Like, no to pineapple on pizza. See, like, I love these, right? Because you and I, we have differing opinions on pineappleness on pizzas, obviously. But I also think it's important to make sure that the comments that you're getting are relevant to the content. Like, because if you're trying to get people to comment so that you can find out what they like, what they don't like, things like that, then you need to make sure those comments are relevant to the content. So pineapple on pizza and the Pepsi versus tea and coffee, all these fun things, they're great and they will get comments, but those comments, they might tell you a little bit about, you guys are having so much fun. They might tell you a little bit about the person, like, you've got like viewers who are in this age range and this demographic, who like pineapple on their pizzas, who drink coffee, who think Pepsi is awful, So you learn a little bit more information, but in what way is that relevant to the content that you serve them? So I'm not going to stop with the pineapple on the pizza. I'm not going to stop with the Pepsi versus toilet water. But I do want comments more related to the content. So I suppose if your whole video is around Pepsi versus sewage overflows, then then that's valid. That's the answers to those questions, but it's not relevant to, like, say, this content. Do you know what I mean? Other than it's a great conversation starter, Yeah, the soapbox was a good call. Yeah. I don't know, Doug. Who wants to drink Pepsi? What about pineapple pizza and Diet Coke does not relate to live streaming? I know, right? I'm just being picky now. But like, let me know in the chat. Do you get what I'm saying here? Do you see what I'm putting down? I got little pineapples floating around. I love the pineapples. So I'm gonna have a sip of my water while I have a look here and see what you guys have to say. Nope, nothing. Okay, so let's have a look at now. Everything was getting a bit noisy in the background here, and I hope you guys couldn't hear it, but it's gotten very quiet again now, which is very nice. Russell says, I grow pineapples and they don't land on my homemade pizza. I love pineapple. Fresh pineapple, tinned pineapple, frozen pineapple. I don't care. I like it all. And it can be on my pizza. It can be on my burgers. If it's on my burgers, it better be grilled and hot. I do not like cold pineapple on a burger. But other than that, it can go on whatever it wants. I don't care. Let's have a look. Home Rapid Prayer says Jerry gives his reasons why no pineapples on pizza. Okay. But I don't know. I think there's just something, especially a barbecue chicken pizza with pineapple on it, the sweetness of pineapple. It has to do with the moisture levels. Well, you don't put you've got to dry out the pineapple a bit before it's got to sit on paper towel before you put it on the pizza. Seriously, you can't just dripping pineapple. Yeah, that's wrong. Remember when this wasn't pineapple talk? Yes, I do, John. Yes, I do, John. Oh dear. That's so good. You guys crack me up so much, really. Like today I was like, should I even live stream? It was like it was like, I've got some other things I want to get done and blah 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 blah. And I tried to talk myself out of it. And I'm like, no, don't be dumb. Just go in. You'll have a good time. You always do. So, yeah. Livestream Consultant says, pineapple on pizza rules. See, I knew why I liked you. Because we can share a pizza. Well, we've been going for an hour. It's amazing how quick we can get past the show script and into the fun part these days. Yeah. But we can side back. But, we've been going for over an hour, and I think we've kept on target some of that. Some of that. I mean, I took it very much to heart when Doug described my live stream on his live stream this weekend. And it was like, oh, okay. I have to work harder at keeping it on topic. Yeah. But no. Because I come up with an idea. I think about it. I write some notes. I do a little bit of research about it. Or somebody's asked for it. Is sometimes what happens. I'll look at replays. I'll look at questions in my other videos. I'll actually look at questions in other people's comments areas. So, because my comments area here is a little quiet. And so I'll quite often go and grab ideas from, say, Nick's streams or other people's videos and streams on similar topics. Tim, do some work. If you're going to work from home, do some work. That's all I'm going to say about that. My husband is in the chat trolling. I don't even know what to say. He's here for the topping conversation. He's listening from the other room. He's here for the topping conversation. He's just said, oh, I'm just working out how you're going to connect this back to live streaming. Oh my gosh. Jerry Papandrea. I can't spell Jerry P's last name. He also told me I was wrong for the same reason as green peppers. I love any and all toppings on pizzas. I'm not. I don't know. Do I don't. We normally buy red because Abby doesn't eat green, so I haven't really thought about it. Oh my goodness, that's it. Doug says pineapple on pizza brings out the lurkers. Tim's definitely a lurker. Oh my goodness. You guys are hilarious. Oh, Abby's in the chat now. Oh my gosh, I'm just being trolled by my family. That's so funny. They should just go back to sleep. Yeah, like I agree with the moisture levels on pizzas. I do, but you can dry out your pineapple and still have the sweetness. Kelly says, bringing back to the live streams, having studio hours that your family roommates are aware of so they don't interrupt. Oh, Kelly. Love it. Absolutely. Making sure that the family don't work from home on the days that you're live streaming.
Shut your door then.
Totally, totally, totally awesome. I love it. I love it. I can actually just block these guys totally from the channel. So that would be probably what I'll do next. Now they're fighting over Dad's keyboard. So I think Abby's out there and she's going to write something in Tim's name. So let's see what happens there. But anyway, yeah, I agree. I agree. Home Rapid Repair. Families should support your goals and tell them to go for it. Tell them to take a short walk. Tim's just yelled out, "We're creating engagement." It's not what's going on. Oh gosh, you guys are hilarious. You guys are hilarious. Yeah, right, Kelly. Like it's trying to just, you know. Oh dear. Now I did actually I did take on board your suggestions for the rant and the soapbox. So let me know in the chat if you like those two new ones. Yeah, do you need your be right back screen? Absolutely. Sometimes just to get in there. I would shut the door, but it's actually quite warm in here today. And so, like, it's not hot, but if I shut the door, I will melt. But yeah. Yeah, rabbit hole. Rabbit hole could be another one. I thought I saw a vortex one. I like a vortex. So a rabbit hole or a vortex. There we go. That could be fun. That could be fun as well. Yeah, absolutely. I agree with those statements. Home Rapid Repair. Florida says, I like the rant, but I'm not sure about what the graphic is for the soapbox. It's a big box being just tipped over, like massive. Finding actually something that was like a soapbox was actually trickier than I thought it would be, because they're all like soapbox derby. So that one was harder to find something because I have to use Jiffy because when I use Tenor, it doesn't work for some reason. I must be grabbing an incorrect link or something. I don't know. Oh dear. Yeah, there was just a lot of soapbox derby versus actual like soapboxes where people stood on it. It's for buy me a coffee to shout me a coffee, Abby. Abby's like, what does that QR code in the corner do? Oh dear. It is. It's very tough. I may actually I might actually wind it up today because we do have a lot more going on in the house than usual, and live stream consultant says maybe we have to create one from scratch. Can the chat commands trigger a GIF that is locally housed? I don't think so. because you have to put a link in. So you could create your own GIF, like what Doug's done. Create your own GIF, get it onto Jiffy. Doug, is yours on Jiffy? Now I'm like, need to double check this information. But yeah, I thought you had to get it onto Jiffy and then use that link to get it into the stream. So yeah, Doug, I love that. Scan it and find out. Yeah, that's cool. I like that. Doug uploaded his to Jiffy. Yeah. But yeah, like definitely making some from scratch could be fun. That's not really my wheelhouse, is like animations and stuff like that. I'm sure it's probably easier now. If I understood ChatGPT a little bit better, I could probably make something and animate it and upload it to I'm not very good at that sort of stuff. And the concern that I have if I go and teach myself this stuff is I could end up in a really big rabbit hole, because it would be something I would just be like, oh my God, this is so fun. What else can I make? What am I going to make next? And that is the concern that I have, that it will end up being a massive, massive time suck for me, because that's the kind of personality that I have. Yeah, that's right. So once they're on Jiffy, they are publicly available, which means that then Social Stream Ninja can go and grab it and can bring it in. Yeah. Rabbit hole isn't a thing, Abby. There you go. There's a list. If you're looking for the currently active GIFs, except for Rant and Soapbox, I only got them in this morning, so that they're not actually on the list yet. So, ludicrous speed. So, do you have any more questions about, about getting more momentum on your channel, or keeping? See, for me, it's about keeping the momentum. I'm not trying to like ramp it up or go crazy, but I do want to keep where I was at a bit longer. Doug's having a party here with all the things. Do you like, or you could tell me, what do you do to keep the momentum? I'd love to know what everybody else is doing to keep the momentum going. Russell, I've been thinking about it this week. I haven't totally ruled it out yet. Like, I've been thinking about like how I would do it. And I did get sent some cover art from Livestream Consultants that gave me a good giggle. But yeah, it's what I'm trying to do is I'm trying not to talk myself out of it again, because I have done that before. I had some friends that told me to do exactly the same thing like 18 months ago, and I talked myself out of it. I felt that surely there's somebody else better than me out there at this stuff who would do it. So, John says that he tries to show up every week and that's his momentum. So that is more your consistency rather than momentum, right? Or is it just, are you keeping your views every week and they're not diminishing, they're just staying, they're keeping there? So let me know. Let's have a look here. You guys are awful. I can tell you right now, Tim would go if he didn't have to pay. He would go if he didn't have to pay. Yeah, the giant hammer on the cover. Yep, they were both great. They were both good. Russell says, I initiated quarterly goals that focused me on the tasks that are most important, and I love that. How do you keep yourself focused? Like, that's a quarterly goal, but day to day, like what's the action day to day that makes it so that you could be there? Yeah, you're probably right. You're probably right. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Yeah. It's definitely like I make goals, right? I make goals on what I think I need to do, and then my day-to-day life sucks it out the window. And then I look at the next quarter and go, well, I didn't do any of that. So, making like for me, I've found some really great apps that I'm using that's really helping. Now, there's one that I've got access to. It's one that Nick Nimmon's testing out, and I really, really hope that he gets to have, um, that he gets to have it in the App Store. And I don't know if he's doing it, but it's fantastic for someone like me, where it's like, okay, so for some of my jobs, I need to go in and look in different communities and double check things, answer people's questions, make sure it's all running tickety-boo. But then what happens is, like, say I've got to go into a Discord community, right? Go into that Discord community. Next thing you know, I'm looking at another Discord community and a different Discord community and all the Discord communities. Whereas now I can just click a button, go back to my list. What's next? That Facebook group. Boop, click on that Facebook group, go and check that. And so it makes it so that for me and how my brain works, which I know is not the same as everybody's, I get it. But making it so that I can go through and get everything done in a more timely manner, having these little apps and things, like I'm not a big fan of like go and spend $11 billion and have all this organizational stuff, because then I spend all this time setting it all up and then I just walk away from it. I'm like, yay, I had fun setting that up. And then boom, gone. I just like bored with that now. Whereas this other thing, it was super easy to set up and it was just like a few minutes, really easy to adjust if I need to adjust it, and just went in and does what I needed to do without any hassles. So having tools like that at my fingertips makes life a lot easier. Growing to Live says, I've always felt I'm not good enough on information I can provide, but I've been focusing on changing that mindset. That's awesome. I like that, because sometimes we need to focus on those mindsets to adjust and change them so we can create the next step. People need to hear your take on things in your own voice. I agree, Doug. I agree. And that's where I keep reminding myself that my take on things might be different than other people's. And even if it is similar or the same, I may word it in a way that's differently. And this is something that I talk about in the Knitting and Yarncraft community, is that there could be 500 videos teaching the exact same cast on that I'm teaching. But how I word it, how I explain it to do exactly the same steps could be just that thing that's a little bit different. And maybe my tone is different. Maybe the, how I, just my demeanor is different. And all of those things connect to different people. So I know this mentally, I've just got to do it. When you're working from the heart, momentum is built in. As you say, avoiding distractions is one key. Yeah, I agree with that. I'm not gonna share them, live stream consultants. Just because I don't know why. I'm not. I don't want to right now. Yeah, put the U in YouTube. I have a whole video, like the first video on this channel is exactly about why, what I just said. It's exactly about why you need to be making videos. It's even if somebody else has made it, it's your way to make it. And the first video on this channel, it's just, if you haven't watched it, please go and watch it. It's just a couple of minutes. But yeah, it's different. Here we go. He's using daily time blocks tied to his quarterly goals to keep him focused. I've adapted ClickUp to organize it without overwhelm. Oh, that is awesome. That is awesome. Also, creators are so worried about not repeating themselves. However, that's now how it works. Most people won't get served all of your videos. Oh, that is so true. And thinking that, oh yeah, someone will have already seen it in a previous video. We have to get rid of that in our brain because most people haven't seen another video. And those people that have and that are going through and watching a pile of your videos, they actually don't care that they've already seen it. They're there to be supportive. They're there because they enjoy your content already. They're not going to be dismissive of it. They're going to understand. John says, I don't think I can control how other people experience my content if that's how we're defining momentum. You definitely can't control other people's experience. But what you can do is you can help them to experience more. You can encourage them into the next video by creating the content that they actually want, not just the content you want to make. And I think what it comes down to is your goal, right? It always comes back to your goal. Is your goal just to make content you want to make and you don't care about subscribers and views, right? Then make what you want to make. Don't even worry about it. Just enjoy the process. But the second you start caring or wanting more views, more subscribers, more, interaction, the second you want more than that, more than just making whatever you want to make, the second you want more than that, that's when you have to start considering making content that may not be exactly what you feel like making right now. Because that's when you are no longer making the channel for yourself. You're making it for your audience. So you need to be thinking about your audience when you're coming in to choose your topics, to choose your scripting style, to choose the kinds of slides you're going to make. The second you're making it not for yourself, and you can't assume your audience are people just like you, because the reality is there's no one just like me. There's no one just like you. So if you're happy with your, your the views that you're getting now, whatever that they may be, then don't change anything. But if you're not happy with it, that's when you need to come in and start looking at other stuff. But this is the thing, if you're content and you're happy, then you don't need to take any of this stuff on board. It just becomes a point when you are less happy. I like number 2 as well, live stream consultants. It made me laugh out loud. Like my husband had to come over and see what I was doing. So yeah, my coffee cup is empty. That is technically true, but that also comes into, you still need to be not content with number 1, right? So if you want the views, and when I say views, I'm not talking about like I think you're assuming that I just mean more views, more views, more views, more views. I'm talking engaged quality views. So the views that you want, which are the people that you want to help. So that to me, that encompasses together. I'm just talking about, like, if you want to actually help somebody who is not yourself, you need to make the content that will help that person, not just the content you want to make. So that can totally be the same as number 2. You just flip the wording just a little. But yeah, like it all comes down to, what is your goal? What is it that you actually want? And are you happy with what's happening now? If you are happy and content with where your channel is at, and you just, especially if you're just uploading or going live and just having a good time and talking about a particular thing in a particular way, like, I know full well that this style of live stream that I run here doesn't suit most people. I know it. I still do it. And why? Because I'm selfish. And I'm doing it for myself. And I don't mean it in the selfish as in the harsh, like, you're so selfish kind of thing, but as in, I'm doing it for me. I'm doing this so that I can try and get my message across, except I know full well that if I was concise, sharper, made it into a video rather than a live stream, those videos would do way better than any of these live streams ever would. But I personally have an issue with editing my own voice, and I really struggle with it. And I end up cutting out so much stuff that it no longer makes sense. I should probably find somebody else to edit my videos. Oh dear. Such a good point. When somebody comments that I saved them from a problem, it makes me happy the whole day long. Oh, doesn't it though? Like when somebody puts in that comment that this is the video I needed, thank you for making this video. And you know full well there's other videos out there describing something similar, but yours is the one that helped them. It does lift you. It does. Well, it lifts me. It lifts Home Rapid Repair Larry. So it's one of those things that we can all make changes. We can all adjust things. There's always something that we could do. But the question is why and who will it benefit? So yeah. Live stream consultant says it's your stream, be your own Burger King and stream it your way. Oh dear, it's not called Burger King here. Did you know that? We call it Hungry Jack's. But yes, I got it all the same. On that note, everybody, I am going to bounce. I'm going to bail. I got some stuff I've got to get done today. Oh, Russell's jumped in with a great big one. Here we go. The biggest mistake I see with the PVA folks, which is Justin Brown's Primal Video Accelerator, is folks making content to help folks with what the creator thinks they need rather than learning to make the content that actually solves the viewer's problem. Yes, that's exactly the point I'm trying to make. They think that like they're making what they think is needed, not what they've looked in and realized what their audience needs. John says, I realize abstractly you could always do more, but you already spoke about the spoons and the limitations of energy, and it's a very real problem. It absolutely is. I am there. I am a limited spoons person. I know that some days are harder than others. I know that for me, some days this stream uses all the spoons for the rest of the day. And sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes I can come back in and just work through a pile of stuff and be like, why can't I be this productive every Monday? And then it's just because some days I wake up with different amounts of spoons. And it's depends on how hard I've pushed with other things. And yeah. And it does. It always, everything in YouTube always comes back to what does success look like for you? What is your end game? What is it that you actually want out of YouTube? What is it that you want? Like, let me know in the chat. What is your end game? What is it that you want out of YouTube? Not so let me know. I would love to know. I'm going to wait. I'm not going to go. John says, I'm so tired of gurus, not Chantelle, obviously, saying, have you made 2,000 pieces of content today? Like, obviously I haven't. Like, seriously, what kind of quality, like what kind of content are you making where you can make 2,000 pieces a day or even 100 pieces a day without a team behind you? Like, that's the other thing. There's so many places now that have whole teams behind them that they'll put out a ton of content and you may not realize it, but they actually have a team behind them helping them. It's not just them. There's other people doing other things behind the scenes. And those of us that do this by ourselves have to really look at that and be aware of that, because we can sometimes, I can sometimes look at something and go, oh, wow, I really should have gotten more done this time around and blah, 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 blah. But I've got a day job. I've got my family. I've got 2 channels that I'm running. So technically I've got 2 side hustles and a day and you know, and my freelancing business, right? Some of these people are just full-time this, but then have 3 other people helping them out. but you don't know that. That looks like they're by themselves. Like we also saw what happened with when Nate Black with that channel makers. None of us knew there was a whole team behind it, right? Or at least I didn't know there was a whole team behind it. It certainly wasn't portrayed that way, that there was a whole team behind it. Some channels like Rhett and Link and stuff like that, they show their teams all the time, so you know there's a whole team behind it. So making sure you're really careful of how you're doing things and understanding that some things is teamwork and some things is individual work. I'll leave you with another lesson learned. Some people buy the tools they need and build the house, and others talk about building the house and collect the tools. That is I really like that way. I think that rather than building a house, I built a chook pen. So I've got all the tools, but I did something else with it. Chantelle is not a guru. She is our maven of live streaming. Oh, I like that. I do like that. Yeah, that's right. Well, it's often 150 pieces of terrible AI generated content that nobody wants to watch. Oh, yeah. I hate to say that sometimes the AI content's not terrible, right? Yeah. YouTube serves to introduce. This is Russell's goal. YouTube serves to introduce me as an expert in my field, opening the door to those who might benefit from my expertise. I like that. I like that. John says, I started my channel because I missed teaching and nobody knew who I was or what I was capable of, so I wanted to share the knowledge. Yeah. I get that. But I have a complex relationship with the stats. Yes, I understand that too. Because I have to be really careful because like Russell, who is recovering from hyperanalytica, I have to be careful because I'll go down the rabbit hole and all of a sudden I'll have all this information and then I'll feel overwhelmed and I'll do nothing. So yeah, it's a very tough one. It's very like it was a big surprise for a lot of people, I think. Yeah, maybe. maybe. But yeah, it's really like we've got different reasons. Like so John was here because he missed teaching. But and nobody knew who you were or what you were capable of, and I want to share my knowledge. I see those goals, right? And I'm going to put this to you. I see that you are not working towards those goals. I see that you are on your channel and you are teaching, but you may not necessarily be finding the people who will get to see or learn from your knowledge. Yeah. And I say this from somebody who is doing exactly the same thing. And I think I seriously consider us in the same boat. And so, you know, I don't want to sound like I'm being harsh or mean, but just sometimes we need, like Russell comes in here and there's stuff in my face. And I know it's not coming from a place of judgment or anything. It's just like hey, do you realize that this is, you know, and I want you to share your knowledge as well. Like I've watched some of your live streams, usually the replays, and the knowledge that you have is there's a lot, and it's not just the surface level; it's the in-depth knowledge. And I think that if you could find a way, like who were you teaching when you were a teacher? Was it high school, primary school? Like who were you teaching? Because I think that if you could make it more like, if you could make, and maybe run this as a test or don't do it at all, like, and totally like, whatever you choose to do, you choose to do it. But have you considered running a test, making a couple of shorter videos, to do some testing to see if just some quicker step-by-step sort of videos rather than a live stream, just to quickly get people through. It was adult education. Yep. Okay. And so more focus on like, who are the people that are wanting to learn how to use OBS? Like, go in, have a look at who are the people that want to learn how to use it, and then find some of their sore points and go and find other creators who are creating OBS content. See what the questions that people are asking, and see if you can make, like, when I say a shorter video, I'm not talking vertical shorts. I'm talking like just a 3 to 5 minute quick tutorial on just solving a single problem or doing a single thing, and see what that does. I think it was definitely, I think that might be something worth testing. Yeah. Russell says, in my honest opinion, that's because live streaming for its own sake is unlikely to reach those live streaming with an end goal beyond the stream itself. That's a lot. But not wrong. Not wrong. Even getting replay views on live streams is hard. Everybody has problems getting replays on, especially education live streams, because they can't ask their questions live anymore. So for entertainment live streams, they do get those replay views, right? But for education live streams, where people can no longer ask their questions live, the point of having the live stream is now gone. And I know this because I deal with this all the time. It's one of those things. When it comes to, they want to have a question answered and solved, they're going to end up having to go somewhere else because they can't ask you the question anymore because you're not live 24/7, because you're a human person with other things that you need to do. So anyway, I just thought that might be something worth looking at. On that note, my friends, I am going to run away. I will see you all here next week, and hopefully I will come up with a plan to have a less wishy-washy live stream. I wouldn't count on it, but I'm going to try. And and we'll see how we go. I hope you all have a fantastic week, that you make yourself a little mini goal and then go and kick that over by the end of the week. And I'll catch you, and we can talk about what our mini goals were and what we kicked over. And I'll catch you next week. But 2,000% less pineapple next week. No. Have an awesome one, and I'll catch you later. Bye now.